going to start muting your music. I have that power, you know.
Well, I couldn't hear it there for a second. I thought you already did.
No, that actually, I paused it because because you weren't recording, I think.
I wasn't recording?
Yeah, your mic wasn't on. I just forgot to hit.
Ruining stuff.
We're fine. Am I ruining it? Or making it 10 times better? I'll leave that to the listeners. I'm receiving a look that says, I consider that. Unless I'm misreading that. Really?
No, that's what it is. For sure.
Yeah, we got to get the video aspect of this thing up and running.
Yeah, we need to do those short videos. The asshole of the week. That's the clips we need to start doing.
Who was this week's asshole of the week?
Asshole of the week this week was actually a group of people.
Right?
It was all the Democrats at the Kavanaugh hearing.
Oh, don't you usually give that to people that you like? Isn't this asshole in the positive sense?
Oh, is it?
That's the way I took it.
Oh, maybe we should do both. Okay, so asshole of the week that's actually an asshole is Democrats at the Kavanaugh hearing.
I don't
the
know.
Good asshole of the week is the tennis umpire.
Jeez.
In Serena Williams' case.
Slamming the table about that one. Really pumped up about tennis.
That's the guy.
No, actually,
He's the asshole of the week that's great.
No, he's not like an asshole. Well, actually, he might be.
A little bit.
Should you?
Like, she really didn't do that much, but because she was being what's the word for it when you get all famous and shit and then you just act like a cunt?
I think that word is strong enough. You didn't really leave me much room to go. You know, what am I gonna say now? You just said cunt. Am I supposed to say, oh, she's pompous? You know?
I'm supposed to be the brash one, and
then I
sugarcoat it.
Yeah, she was being a bit naughty. She was being a bit unruly. Yeah.
So I would give that to him.
After now, I actually understand the sequence of events more than because I kept seeing it in clips. Like I kept seeing what she was saying, and then I thought, so I guess in case anybody hadn't heard this story, Serena Williams was at the Wimbledon, was it?
No, U.S. Open.
U.S. Open. She was playing like the finals. Relevant factor, getting her ass whooped. Yeah, getting her ass whooped by this 20-year-old rising star, I guess, Osana, I think is how you pronounce her name.
Something like that.
And she gets a violation for coaching, which is sort of questionable from what I understand. Like, it's one of those things, it is a rule, but it's one of those rules that everyone sort of breaks. And it wasn't like the guy was... it was more like he was, like, coaching instinctively, like, on the sideline. Like, you know... I mean, he admitted that it was, like... that he was coaching, but he said everyone does it.
Yeah. So,
you know, that's relevant also.
It's still, like, one of those things, though, that's like... everybody does it.
Yeah.
You know you're not supposed to do it, so...
So, you know, that's
don't do it.
Yeah, so that's kind of a questionable aspect of the whole thing. It's like, well, it's a rule, but it's a rule that they don't enforce. I don't know. I think, but anyway, so she got that first infringement for getting the coaching. She knew about it, which I didn't know at first. At first, I thought she didn't realize she got the violation, but she knew she got the violation.
Yeah, they said it.
Yeah, they said it. She got the violation, and then she slammed her racket. You know. Like,
broke it.
She's getting,
like, shattered.
Getting killed. Like, keep that in mind. Getting killed. Slams the racket. And then she gets another infraction, which is a big penalty, right? It's like a game penalty.
Yeah. So it goes warning, point penalty, then game penalty.
Yeah. So she lost the game because of that, although she was probably going to lose it anyway. And then after that, though...
It was pretty close in that second... set.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
But then after that, this is when she starts, like, you know, going off on, like, the umpire, you know, or the match, or whatever you call them. chair guy,
Yeah.
sideline ref. She starts umpire. It is umpire. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so she starts going after him, starts really getting into him. I think they play a little more, and then she kind of comes back and is like, she's. I mean, like she has kind of verbally abused him a couple of times at this point. Like she was.
Yeah,
pretty,
she just hasn't called him any names
yet. Yeah. She's like, saying like it's this, it's like it's this and that, and now she calls him a thief, and then he gives her a further penalty, which is a set.
It's a game.
And so it was another game penalty.
No. So she got a warning for the coaching.
Yeah.
Then when she smashed her racket, she got a point penalty. So she just got a point taken.
Point penalty. Okay, yes.
Which ended, I think, that game.
Right. And then
she got a game penalty, which made it. She was down 5-3, I think, and then she actually won a set. So it was 5-4. No, it was. What was it? I don't remember the exact order.
Okay. That's the part I got confused. So then, first she got the point, and then like finally when she came back, like started arguing with him again. She called him a thief, like saying that he's trying to steal this thing from her. Yeah. Which is which is what it is. Or well, we can get into that in a second. But she called him a thief. Then he's like game thing, and then she just started going off, right? Like just causing a big thing.
Yeah, she brought out like the tournament judge or something like that.
Yeah, I started saying that
with the umpire.
Yeah, and she started saying it was sexist and all this, Yeah. Sexist that if a man did that, they wouldn't have.
Which actually, apparently, Ramos is pretty strict, like with everybody.
Yeah, I've heard that he's pretty strict, and also though, for her side of it, there was guys who were saying like, I've said worse. But I guess it's like what you consider worse. So
I had somebody talk about that today. Actually, I watched a video of a girl who played tennis for a while, and like I don't think she was ever a pro or anything, but like they were talking about how like yes, men have said worse, but they don't normally say it at the third penalty. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter what you do. It always goes through those three things. It's always a warning, point, game. It's always in that order.
Right.
No matter what you do. So they'll always do it like around the second penalty.
Yeah.
Like they'll like tell the ref something like really bad.
Yeah.
And so they'll get a point rather than a game.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this for the whole situation. For me, it's very hard to automatically attribute it to sexism on the part of the ref, because getting like, even if you say those calls were bad, which it seems like some of the tennis community kind of agrees that, they were kind of bad. It's like she was jawing off at the ref for sure. But I mean, she was being really belittling to him, like super like,
Yeah.
She was like, you gonna make an apology to me? You gonna make an apology to me? Well, then you can't speak to me. Like,
Yeah,
she was saying that whole thing. Like she was demeaning this guy, like letting him know that she's like the star. Like, you'll never work on a court with me again. Like
I hope he umps the very next game she plays.
Yeah, she said all that, and like, but even if it was a bad like, a bad call, that does happen like all the time in sports. Yeah. Like, and there are so many examples. Like, who's that one ref in the NBA who has like or like Joe West in the MLB? He has like that reputation for trying to show up players. Like, super strict judges kind of have that like thing about them where like they like to make themselves kind of center of what's going on. Yeah. They like a little attention for themselves. They call it a little stricter. I mean, some guys like just.
I don't really think that's what he was trying to do, though.
Well, I mean, the coaching thing is apparently like, well, like, and also though, that's.
I would say, all I know is the character of Serena Williams is not real high to me from what I've seen from the last, like, from what happened and then all the stuff that came out after it happened.
Well, only for this specific incident. I can't think of anything besides this. No.
So apparently, like, you gotta watch, like, the other time she's been at the U.S. Open, and a female line judge called something against her, and she like went off on her, like calling her unattractive. Like,
really?
Yeah, just like all this.
Pull that clip up. Yeah, well, that's pretty mean. But at the same time, you have to be a pretty sort of like competitive person to like excel at that. To be like, I mean, it's actually pretty incredible when you think about it that she's 35 and is like competing with like a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, like the girl, well, she beat her pretty handily, but it's not like she was totally out of her league. You know what I mean? And she was in the finals again.
Yeah. Apparently, it happened 2 different times actually as well. So.
And so
Serena Williams apologizes for threatening line judge at the U.S. Open.
wait, that's this time,
No,
or
no.
this is that other story?
No, this is the other story.
She threatened her.
Yeah, like, one of the line judges she threatened, like, she was like, "I'll stick this fucking ball down your fucking throat" or something like that.
Yeah. So
So it's happened several times.
super competitive people though, like to have the drive to be
Yeah.
excellent, like past your prime, it takes that sort of mentality. So I understand that, even though like it's gonna cost you though, and it seemed clear given the context of what was going on, like how bad she was losing, that she was just having a tantrum because she knew that she was like defeated.
Yeah.
It's she's like that kid.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
It's just like, I like it when the other thing happens to put them back in their place. Like,
Them. Yeah.
anybody acting like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard for me to side with her, and like I don't think it's fair to just say like it's sexism. It doesn't. I mean, it's just one like judge at one point. Wouldn't he have to be that way to everybody?
Oh, also, I found out too, just on the character
Hold on,
aspect.
I hate this fucking dog.
What happened?
Bailey. She's pulling on the damn cord. Bailey.
So,
Just keep filling the air.
basically, also something that she did. Got to take the dog out, Sometimes she's good in here, and then sometimes she gets a little restless. So maybe one of these days we'll put her in a clip so everybody can see her, though. See how annoying she actually is. But, I mean, stuff like that happens with these athletes.
What else did she do?
So, apparently, one of the things, just a show of character on her part, her coach and her, her coach left his wife to date her.
Serena Williams?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And he had, kids and stuff, too.
Scandalous.
Yeah, so that happened, and then, he, now she's married to somebody else. But he's still her coach, though.
Wow, that guy's a trooper. That's a ride or die coach.
Very strange.
Yeah, I don't know how you keep a relationship up like that. That is, you really have to eat these mics, by the way, to get good levels. You
Yeah.
really got to get in there. Don't be afraid.
Oh.
Yeah. That's wow.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying with the whole character.
That's gonna take me a second to process that. I can't believe that he stuck with her. After she's like, you kind of ruined my life as it was before. But I guess maybe he's moved on. He's found something. He's found something better. I'm gonna stick to coaching my players, not having sex with them. That's so maybe he learned something from that. I hope he did.
Maybe so. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, all that stuff happened.
I don't know. I don't think she's a. I mean, I still don't necessarily think she's a bad. Because I will say in terms of there being a sexist double standard. I think some people though. I wonder if these same people dislike that sort of stuff. When it's say it's Michael Jordan. He had that same reputation for being kind of crazy. In terms of being competitive, and I bet, I don't, who the hell knows what he's said to refs,
Yeah.
I see football players kind of do that same sort of crap where they're having a problem with your phone there.
A little bit. Somebody's calling me. Can't see who it is because it's
Really?
black.
Well, good.
I'm trying to get it to stop vibrating so I can set it back down.
That's really, wait, put it down.
Now it's done.
Okay, good. That's
Stupid thing.
That's God saying, Hey, they're on the air.
It would have been easier if I saw who it was and I could have just clicked the button and set it down.
He's a fan. He listens.
Stupid thing. I hate that phone now.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. She just seems really, I don't know. Sometimes when athletes get to that level, I just don't like them anymore.
Well, she definitely is, she is bigger than the game. Like, let's be honest. No one, like, that was the other thing about it. Like, a point that I heard made that I agreed with, that, it's kind of sad for the other girl. Whereas, like, she was, like, apologizing for winning afterwards. The whole crowd was, like...
yeah, they were booing her.
Yeah, they were booing her like she did anything. And, like, she wasn't going to win the game anyway.
Yeah.
Like, she was winning pretty good.
Yeah, handily.
Yeah, even... she was... I mean, it's not like she was winning, like, straight, like, sets, but, she was still winning. Like, clearly was going to win.
She won the first set 6-2.
Yeah, like, Serena knew, like, that she was up, and then she started throwing it like, well, I guess I can't say that's necessarily what it was, but that's what it feels like, or that's what it looks like. And it's just, like, sad for this girl that won. Like, it should be a great accomplishment. You beat a legend, Yeah. And instead, like, no one cares because Serena, like, threw such a tantrum that...
Yeah, so I think she's an asshole.
Well, actually, this is my word choice right there. I think I use tantrum because I've heard people describe her as a tantrum, but this is why people say it's sort of like why it's it's one of those cases of possible, like, sexism.
Bullshit.
You think using that word?
No, she threw a hissy fit.
Well, yeah, well, that's what they're saying. Like,
that's not sexist. Men throw hissy fits. They have tantrums.
Well, do people call it like? That's what I'm saying.
What John McEnroe did? He threw little tantrums.
Yeah, John McEnroe definitely threw tantrums.
Yeah, that's what he did. Like, he got pissed off. I'm tired of that. Like what's her face? Who's the chick that played that one dude and he only let her win because he was a gambling addict? Basically,
Billie Jean King.
Yeah. She put something about it like, oh, men do this and they're praised. And it's like, no, actually, people think they're assholes too when they do shit like that.
Well, people did seem to like John McEnroe. I don't know.
John McEnroe had that. No, actually, people didn't necessarily like him.
Yeah.
It's just like he was good at it. Like, you can be good at being, like, an asshole.
Mm. Yeah, that's for sure. It's kind of like
she's not, she wasn't, like, she's not normally like that. So you can't just all of a sudden do it and be liked for doing it.
I get there's definitely a way to be.
John McEnroe was doing that shit when he was, like, before he was famous. Like, he had meltdowns like that.
That's possible. I mean, that's a possible explanation for why, like, the difference in, like, the way people view it. And also, though, I would have to be there at the time to kind of see what, like, all the coverage was. Like, in retrospect, I think people like him. And in retrospect, everyone's going to love Serena Williams.
I'm telling you, not that many, like, they didn't like, he was a good player, so people respected that, but they didn't like, especially people in tennis, because back then it wasn't like a...
It was more stuffy.
Yeah, it was, like, very high class, like,
Yeah.
So, like, they didn't like him. They booed him, actually, at one point at Wimbledon.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it seemed like there was some negative press around him. It's kind of like revisionist history to just be like, oh, it was I mean, now people like him because he retired. He's on TV. He's
mellowed out too.
Yeah,
so people started to like him after he was not as much of an asshole.
Yeah, and, like, once he's not on the court anymore, and then you could just appreciate the good moments and kind of laugh off the bad moments.
Yeah,
like, I mean, Serena will definitely have that too. I mean, it's not like she's not universally loved.
I'm just saying, in this moment, she was an asshole, and it got corrected. She threw a little tantrum.
Yeah,
like, it's not sexism. That's what she did.
I mean, yeah, it's hard not to, call that, like, a tantrum. Like, it's because she was losing, Like,
yeah, exactly.
If it wasn't for the fact that she was losing, it would look a lot better on her part, Even, like, if it's a close match, she's going back and forth, and she feels like the ref is jobbing her, then I can see why you react like that. Or, like, I can see in both cases why you would. But I can, what's the... Maybe the word isn't respect, but I could sympathize with that more, because it's like you're in something close and, like, something out of your control, sort of out of your control, even though you got to know not to slam the racket. But again, that's just, intensity.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing was too is, like, because she knew she had gotten that warning, And I think when she got the game penalty, she assumed that he was going to make it to where, like, the warning didn't count or something. Like,
Yeah.
I'm Serena Williams, so clearly I wasn't cheating, so you just rescind whatever you said.
She did kind
of...
of...
It doesn't count. You said it, but it doesn't count.
She kind of said that. She was like, you can't talk to me unless, like, you change it back.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
It was definitely not a good moment. And she totally took away from the, like, that's the problem. She totally took away from the girl's moment.
yeah.
You know, like, no one even cares about the girl. Like, that, you know, I don't know if you want to talk about that or not. Like, that Australian newspaper that did that cartoon that was like...
yeah, everybody's calling that racist. Like, it's a political cartoon.
Yeah, I mean...
They draw everybody exaggerated and cartoonish.
Yeah, the only point I was going to make about it was the girl that won was, like, in the background and she was white when she's not. You know, but, like, that's how much of a, like, a second figure she was, like, to the whole story. Look at her. She's like, she looks like exotic. I'm not sure exactly where. She looks like she's a mix of a few things. Very.
No, she's tan.
Yeah.
She's got blonde hair. Just like in the... Just how she looks.
No. Let me...
She's tan.
What? You mean...
In the cartoon.
No, she's a little white girl in the back.
No, she's not.
Uh,
She definitely has a tan tint.
I'm going to...
I'm looking at it.
I'm going to look it up too. I'll look at it, you look at it, and then I'll look at it over here.
You're fake news.
You're fake news.
No, you're fake news.
Hey. You're fake news.
No, you're fake news.
She has the same...
She's tan.
By the way, dude, how can you look at this and not be like out of... Like, I mean, it's cartoonish, but it's just like... Well, this is the thing I was asking you about before. Like, does... Like, you know, people are saying it looks like a... Like, Sambo. You know what that is?
I mean...
That's like a...
The old racist cartoons.
Yeah.
So just don't draw black people at all.
Well, no.
In cartoons.
I don't think that's what that's
so no matter what you do, if you draw a black person, though, they can say that's racist. It doesn't matter what it looks like; they will say that.
I did not. Nobody.
That's what they'll say, though.
No, like look at the way she's drawn. Like she's got like
she's throwing a tantrum.
Yeah, I mean, I was wondering what Australia's history with that whole thing was.
I don't think they really have much of a history with it, other than Aboriginal stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like the same thing, because it's weird to hold somebody up to like a standard of like what American like racist, like of a 1930s American cartoon that was racist. Like
that's what I'm saying.
You know, like is he like aware of that?
I think the people that think it's racist, like, because they talk about, you know, like they were talking about the dog whistle. You know, like how that's a big phrase now for the Democrats is like, oh, they're dog whistling. It's like the whole point of a dog whistle is like you have to be the one to hear it.
Yeah,
so if I don't hear it and you hear the dog whistle, you're the racist.
Yeah, but my point is, it looks like that. Like
I don't think so.
We're arguing like you can have two different things here. You could say that clearly looks like a Sambo cartoon because it does. I mean,
maybe.
Look at it. Look at her. Like, look at the way her lips look. You know, and like her hair looks like, you know, like that's, you know, and like she has like giant. She's like fat in this picture. She looks like a fat mama with like ginormous like, you know, tits, even though she's like a super toned athlete.
She's been over.
What?
She's been over.
Listen, you can say, but like, I think you can hold the thought that it looks like that, but that might not have been his intent. You know, like I don't think it was his intent to be racist. Like, it's very hard for, you know, like I don't think that, but it's possible it was. But you could clearly make a case where he wasn't meaning to do that. You know, like it could have just accidentally ended up looking like that because, like you said, you're drawing a cartoon and it's meant to, like, you know, there is a difference there to make. You know, like you can do something that's accidentally like that is accidentally like would remind people of that, but, you know, but when you look at it, it's very similar to the way those cartoons look. I mean, look at that. Like, go look up like the Sambo thing. And tell me that's not like, you know, reminiscent at all of that sort of crap.
But like I said, I don't think that you can even go there with somebody who's not from America. Like,
Well, yeah, there's definitely. Well, that's why I'm arguing again. That's why I think it wasn't his intent, because it's not something, you know. I don't know how familiar he is with it or not. I don't know Australia's history as far as that goes.
I think clearly she was acting like an asshole. They drew her like she was acting like an asshole.
But I'm saying, like,
I mean, maybe they drew her like that because they wanted her to look worse.
yeah, but like, it's like a faux pas here. I think if somebody drew it like an American cartoonist drew it, I'd be like, like, you should know
my
that.
mind doesn't automatically go to that's racist, though. It's just
it's not that it automatically goes there. Like, it's that's what people are saying. It's like you're, like,
I think those people are racist. If that's what your mind automatically goes to, then I think you're the racist one. Like, I think that I look at it and go, oh yeah, she was throwing a little tantrum.
Even if you're a black person and you're just offended by it?
I mean, we're in 2018 now. Like, none of y'all went through a whole lot of this stuff. Like, she's a $1 million athlete.
Yeah, no, she lives a privileged life, but that doesn't mean, like, people can't be, like, she can't perceive something as being racist towards her. Like, and even if the guy didn't mean to be it, like, I
don't think she perceives anything. She probably just got pissed off because he drew her fat.
Well, at least now you admit that she's fat, not bent over.
I mean, she looks fat in that picture, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she's the skinniest thing in real life, though.
She's only like 155 pounds.
She looks like she's on steroids.
Oh, by the way, this is actually what we were saying before. You're saying you don't think she's attractive?
No.
I disagree. I so disagree.
We were talking the other day about how Michelle Obama was unattractive, and you find her attractive?
The Michelle Obama?
No.
So, yeah. I think Serena Williams is attractive. Hell yeah.
What?
Well, first off, she's 20 years younger. Or, like, her face is prettier. She's got meat in all the right places. She's athletic.
I'm judging you so hardcore right now.
How do you not think she's attractive?
She's just not attractive. She looks like a man.
No. I mean, a man, like, she's pretty, like, I don't want to, she's pretty, what would you call that?
Manly.
No. Chesty. Like, how can you say, like, that looks like a man?
I'm talking about the face.
I'm talking about her as a whole person. I don't just judge a woman by her face. It's actually, usually it's actually the second thing.
It's a big part, though. It's why they have something called a butterface.
Yeah, well, right, that's true, but that doesn't mean, this conversation has a chance to go off the rails. But I'm just saying, it's like, okay, once I was sitting in an elevator, right? I was sitting in the lobby of an elevator waiting to go up for work, and I was sitting, like, at the far end of the lobby, and there was a girl in front of me, and, like, there was a corner where I could see guys turning around, like turning the corner to come into, like, the the lobby for the elevator. Every guy instinctively looked down at, like, I saw 5 guys do it. Like, they looked down at her ass and then looked up. Like, it was like before their brain, like, picked up what they were doing, like, it was like it was like an echolocation thing. Like, it was like, coo, 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 coo. Like, they came. It's like, I don't know how they registered it so fast. You know what I mean? Like, pure instinct. But that shows you how important the face is, because they didn't turn around and say, "Excuse me, miss, can I see your face?" They all looked at her butt first.
Like,
like they had that
just
story.
To look at, like, that'd be okay. But, like, if you're actually gonna, like, want to go out with somebody, I'd hope that you notice their face.
I'm not saying that she's like, what would you call that again? I'm not saying I want to, like, marry her. I'm saying she's pretty.
Nah.
She's attractive.
Nah.
In a bar, she walks up to you, she's like,
I'd go, ugh. No.
Now, Now I'm judging you. You really would say no?
This is definitely on you.
No.
Yeah.
Lots of red-blooded Americans would agree with me.
No.
I'm not even asking you, like, you know, is to put her, like, in the Mount Rushmore woman. I'm saying, like, you know, you don't think, like, she's attractive enough where if she tried to pick you up at a bar, you would deny her? That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
I mean, maybe years ago. I don't know.
You have a racist wiener.
No. Not even close.
I'm kidding. I would never accuse you of that. But it's possible.
I know what it says it's attractive. That's not it.
You can't blame a guy for that. You know, it's like it literally has a mind of its own.
There's a test.
It
doesn't pass that test.
Yeah.
What can you
Tingling, tingling.
do? What can you do?
Yeah, I don't know. I've always found her attractive. Like,
actually, she actually used to look much more attractive. I think she looks way.
well, yeah, that's the other thing. You can't like compare her to Michelle Obama. She's 20 years younger, at least. Right? Michelle Obama is 50.
Something like that. I don't know. No, I'm just saying, like, we were having that discussion the other day.
Yeah.
No, I mean, actually, I'm looking at, like, some older pictures of her. She used to be way more attractive.
Yeah. She still looks, I mean, you know, you can't blame someone for getting old.
I mean, maybe that's part of it. She's not that old, though.
Oh, my goodness. Look at this picture of her. Type in Serena Williams young, and then there's, like, a picture of her with, like, yellow pants. Like, she's
with a black top.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's attractive in that picture. If that woman came up to me in a bar and hit on me, I'd say yes. Not the one I showed you, though.
You know, I mean, when people get older, like, you know, unless you're me and you just keep getting prettier and prettier. Well, she looks really good in that picture.
Yeah.
I think I, you know, it's an opinion, but I won.
Years ago, she was attractive.
She's you're always young at heart. Well, so wait, what did you want to say about Nike? Because you had that written up on the big board.
Did we talk about it last time?
Yeah, we did, but so I thought you had something else to add.
I guess not really.
Yeah.
I don't remember if we talked about it or not.
No, we did. We spoke about it a little bit. Although
Stupid.
I think their sales actually rebounded.
Yeah.
Although,
figured.
You know, you'll see the effect of it. It's gonna have to be a long term because, like,
yeah, I don't think it's gonna change.
I had it broken down like this, and it made sense. It's like first there's like the first week where it's like all the negative publicity, bad for the brand. Then it's the second week where it's like all the people that like want to show support are buying more than usual just to be like, you know, you did.
Yeah.
And then you got to wait long term to kind of see, like, so you have to keep monitoring that. It's too early to tell, like, whether, I mean, I think it was a bad marketing move. It seems like I find it hard to believe that it's good to alienate people.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you might get people that are more into you, but, you know, do you want to cut off large segments of the population, especially when you're trying to expand?
Hold on.
Like,
hold that thought. If any of y'all have anything you want to say about Serena Williams being attractive, tweet us at Dead Radio USA.
Yes.
On Twitter.
Oh, you're on your game today. Look at you.
Only a minute off.
After a long week of work, still got enough in the tank to remember things like that. God, okay. I cannot wait to hire a little little intern or something. I need somebody to like remember to run things around here.
I'll tell you what would have been cool is if these mics plugged into a mixer.
Yeah.
Because I remember we used to have that for the radio station that we had at my high school.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like it was really cool. You could you'd be playing music, so it would be playing on it. And then when music was done, you could turn the music down, and then you turn the mics back up. and you could turn the mics up, or if if it was too loud, you can kind of bring them back
How many
bit.
How many mics could you put in there?
We had 2 set up, but I think you could do more because the mixer, you could do like depends on the mixer. You can do a lot though.
Maybe if I.
But the problem is these mics don't plug into a mixer.
They don't.
They're USBs.
What plugs into a mixer?
They're like I don't know what the plug is called. It's a different plug though.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, fuck me, Forrest.
So,
Yeah.
future. If anybody wants to send us some stuff,
I don't think.
Get in contact with
good
us.
luck
'Cause
with
I'm not
that.
gonna
With
tell our
that. With
address
that
over
pitch.
Huh?
So good luck with that pitch. I don't think
One of our 20 listeners
we have more than that. How dare you?
consistently. Hey, we have 600 views on YouTube for one video.
Stop slamming things.
And
Scaring
3
me.
on all the other ones.
Yeah, I know.
It's such a weird look.
We'll work on that. Well, we got to start. You know what?
We need to do
Let's
videos.
stop talking about the show and start living the show.
So, okay, we also need to know. You can send us an email at
thedeadendradio@gmail.com.
there you go, or tweet us at Dead Radio USA.
Professional.
About should I, when doing the Asshole of the Week segments, videotaped, should I be wearing like suit and tie like a news broadcaster? I stack my papers. In this news segment, Asshole of the Week.
I don't know. What think about that? I don't know.
Or should it be a different character?
Different. I think I would. My instinct is to say different.
Okay.
That's my instinct.
Don't look good in a tie. I see.
That's what I'm trying to say to you. You're not. You're not meant for that. You're only meant for that if you're like a. Once again, talk.
Meant for what?
Like I think that would look fun. Like you would look funny if you're like a news reporter that clearly like doesn't give it like a shit anymore. Like that was the idea of like that other thing I was pitching you before. Just like, well, I don't want to ruin the surprise.
Okay, we'll keep it. Don't worry, guys. We've got ideas.
616 views. Damn.
I know. We're doing good.
So
on that one video.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the other thing we should talk about before I called people beta males. Actually, it ties in with, because they're beta males too. Bert Kreischer and Theo Vaughn going into that segment, what we got so many views on YouTube about was Joe Rogan, Owen Benjamin versus Joe Rogan and everybody else.
Yeah.
So Bert Kreischer and Theo Vaughn had a little podcast, talked about all sorts of weird stuff. Found out, how much of a pervert Theo Vaughn really is. I didn't
Really?
understand that until
What'd he say?
like when Owen Benjamin talked about it. But he was just, dude, the stories, man. Like you just gotta watch it. Like,
You can't give me. You gotta give us one story.
I mean, like,
Give us and everyone.
I mean, he talked about like, I guess it's him and his friends, but he talked about like one of his friends, like they did like a set somewhere. And he had a friend with 2 broken arms. And this chick that he was hitting on earlier in the night, his friend slept with her, but he had 2 broken arms. So another buddy, like, held him up with one arm as he did her. Like, he couldn't do anything
You
with
mean
his arms.
like he was like the he was like being the hydraulics for him?
No, like he was just holding him up, and I guess he, like, the other guy was like using his legs for momentum, but like he couldn't hold himself up, so his buddy was like holding his chest,
Dude,
and just holding him.
what the hell's wrong? Who needs their arms? I mean, like,
I don't know, dude.
like, I'm like, I could, like, I could go like this, like, like I don't need my arms to stand up straight and to thrust my hips.
I don't know.
Like, what do you?
Saying, like,
Do you have to? Does this guy like? He has to.
stories.
This guy has to literally throw his hip into things. Like he has to use his 2 hands to like, boom.
Yeah.
Like there's other positions.
Just saying, you gotta watch it.
Like she
There's
can
There's
sit.
a lot of weird stories.
You could stand. You know, she could.
Also, they talked a little bit about Ralphie May too.
Oh yeah, what about him? Rest
Apparently,
in
Bert
peace.
Kreischer was on like a boat with him, or on a cruise with him, and said like he just didn't do much, like ever.
Like what? He just sat in his room.
Like yeah, pretty like he didn't have the energy to do it.
I mean, the guy was.
See that goes back to our last podcast. We were talking about the, which we never actually went and looked anything up about that cover for Cosmopolitan.
Oh, the Tess Holiday thing.
Yeah, but see, Ralphie May did that
Yeah, that
shit
was a while
too
ago.
on stage. He would talk about being like, "Oh yeah, I'm huge, but hey, I'm healthy. Like my doctor says I'm healthy," and like hearing that story from Bert.
Did
And
he
him-
say that?
Yeah, he did in one of his specials. I'll watch the special because I love his special. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
But he says that at the end of the special.
It's kind of hard to take a comedian super seriously, though.
No, but I mean, like
Especially like
it
around
wasn't
that.
like, I mean, there might have been a couple jokes as he was saying it, but like he was like, you could tell he meant it. Like you can tell when like they kind of switch into like a truthful kind of thing. You know? Well, I'll watch it because I like his specials.
All right, so
but-
that's another thing we have to look up for that. But I guess, you know, my only point with that, if you want to go back to it quickly, is just I don't think, you know, people just got to figure out their own lives for themselves. Like, I don't think it's on us to be judging them about the things in their life that are wrong. And and I guess just personally, I always feel like these things are just like, they're your own, like, you know, I mean, sometimes you can keep, like, you know, it's different, I guess, depending on the person. Sometimes you just care for a person and you want them, you know, and you're worried about their health. You know, that's one scenario. But a lot of times it's just like people like judging people for, you know, where they've let their lives go because, you know, I don't know. But what I think it is, at least what I found it in myself, whenever I find myself judging people like that, it's more just like internally. It's like you're hating something that you don't like in yourself, that you see like in that sort of behavior.
Mhm.
You know, like, and that's the way I felt about it. So like I try not to like, you know, give into that, you know, or I don't want to feed that thing.
No, I mean,
you know
like,
what I mean?
I wouldn't have ever said anything about Ralphie May. Like, I don't care. Like, I think he's hilarious. I think, you know, he can live his life. It's just he said something like that, and that's like just one thing that I just didn't agree with. Like, he's talking about being healthy, and then come to find out, he's not really that healthy. Like, I'm not judging him for it. I'm just saying, like, you're lying.
Or right. Well, saying like as an objective fact that isn't true, but like that doesn't mean you have to necessarily be, like, telling him how he should live his life.
Yeah.
Like people
I just
have
don't
like
like
the
the
decision.
lying. I just don't. That's the thing that I have with it. Don't lie.
Yeah. Like I don't care. Like, you know, you can live your life the way you want to live it, and you have to be honest about what that's going to be. And I'm not going to judge you as a bad person for living this way or the other thing. That's, you know, that's like my ultimate like point with it. Like I don't want to like feed into energy that's like, oh, like I think, you know, it's immoral for you to live like the way you want to live. Like, you know, whether or not it is, like that's between you and like, you know, that's between you and your higher power. But, you know, as for me, it's, you know, like just, you know, live your life, and if you're somebody I care about, I'll support you whichever way you want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, but that was my only point with Tess Holiday, just to cap that off quickly.
Back to the whole original point of that story was Bert Kreischer, Theo Von did a podcast, didn't
Yes.
say anything about Owen Benjamin, calling him out.
Yeah, pretty weak.
Yeah, like, and I'm not joking, like, they talked about, like, being in, like, you know, like, saying, like, Bert Kreischer literally said something like, oh, yeah, you know, like, you know, you have those moments where, like, you say something, like, on a podcast that you were just kind of joking about, and, like, people take it the wrong way, and then, like, you know, they kind of go off on you, and he's like, oh, you know, if you just wait it out, though, like, it goes away.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, and this is what we were talking about earlier. It's like, I think you have to be, like, you have to take seriously the fact that, like, there's, you know, 100,000, 200,000 people listening to you. and you said something, you're admitting it's untrue.
Yeah.
You got to address it. You can't you can't just like privately, be like, oh well, whatever, I didn't mean that. And like, did you reach out to the guy you said it about at least?
Right.
At least. But I still think even like, yes, say it in public because you said like, you said he was racist in public.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you believe that? If you believe it, like, then say it, and that's that is what it is.
Stick behind it. Yeah.
Yeah. Then, but if not, and you're admitting you were wrong about it, you have to like apologize because then it's like in America that's like the worst thing you could be called, right? I'd say like that's like in terms of our like 8 rings of hell, I'd say that's the 7th level of hell. Eighth is probably like rapist and pedophiles. Yeah. But then above that is like racist, which is it's good, I guess. A racist pedophile. That would be that's Satan. That's Satan himself. That's the head sticking out of the ice. Bring me a child.
But yeah.
But not Latino. All right, so tell me what you.
Oh no, so I just saw.
Oh wait. We never, unless you want to quickly touch upon it, we never talked about Owen Benjamin or Joe Rogan giving his apology.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he apologized to Joe Rogan.
And his situation was different, by the way. Like, I don't think he had to say anything in public. Like he talked to him privately.
Oh, no, for sure.
Because, like, he didn't say anything bad about him in public.
That was Owen Benjamin having to apologize, which he did publicly.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he did the right thing there.
Yeah, and he was actually talking about it. He's like, look, I would be an asshole if I didn't apologize for this. Like, because clearly I was in the wrong.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know that, like, my fans and, like, other people are going to be disappointed, like, me saying this, but I don't care. Like, I'm apologizing because, it's the right thing to do. Joe called me. We yelled at each other for a little bit. And then they started laughing, So,
yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. I mean, good. I think the funny
that's
thing.
That's how guys get over things.
The funny thing about.
Be like, confront somebody, be like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
It was, and from his, from his telling of it, it's pretty funny because this is kind of a situation where I think people do this kind of stuff all the time. He kept saying this is what women do. It's like, it's so funny that, like, to me, it's like, that's the way, like, you're apologizing, but, like, why do you have to keep saying, like, this is what women do? This is like,
it's true.
You gotta make another thing you gotta apologize for.
He won't apologize for that one.
No, he won't apologize for that, but it's like, come on, man. Like, keep it, stay on target. Like, you're losing focus. But, I think that is something that, I've seen people do. I think I've done some version of that where it's like, you have something in your head.
Yeah.
And it's like...
You let it fester.
Yeah, you let it fester. Like, it's your reading of the situation. Like, you never get that confirmed with the other person.
Yeah.
And then it's like, now you have this narrative going on in your head about what's going on. And everything they do confirms it. But it's like, you just never said anything.
Yeah.
And so, like, the person's walking around like... And you're like, oh, I hate it when he fucking does that. Like, and he knows I hate it. He knows I hate it. Like, like...
For sure.
Yeah, I've definitely been in that. Like, I'm a passive-aggressive piece of shit like that.
I can be that way, too.
Yeah. Sometimes you just don't want to, like, deal with things.
Yeah. I don't like confrontation, to be honest.
Yeah.
It might seem like I do. I really don't.
Yeah. Especially now with, like, people that are close to you. I think that the good rule of thumb is, like, you have to have at least 3 examples.
Yeah.
If you can't say 3 examples off the top of your head, you're going to come in looking like an asshole if you try to confront somebody about something.
Yeah.
Because then just, like, you're what? One little thing and, like, you're getting upset?
Yeah.
But 3. If you have 3 good ones that you could say, like, this is why I'm mad. It's like, you do this that annoys me and you did it this time. And I was like, all right, you did it this time, you did this time, you did this time. And now I'm saying something. Then we're good.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
that's...
But...
yeah, so that was...
It was good. I appreciated the apology. Yeah. I think some of the stuff that he said was still kind of truthful about Joe Rogan. I mean...
That he looks like a thumb?
Well, yeah, he definitely still thought that. He kept saying it.
He made that part clear.
Yeah, he's like, he still looks like a thumb.
Still, like... Yeah, kept that...
But I mean, it was good, to see like.
What was the other stuff that he said? Well, a lot of the stuff he said was like pretty personal. Like, it was. I mean, like he's like, I'm a better comedian. I write better jokes.
I don't think he apologized for that.
Well, I'm sure he will. I'm sure he doesn't.
No, I think the only stuff he really said was, that
he shouldn't have Alex Jones on. I think he Joe kind of gave him like some
he
information.
told him about some stuff, that happened, and so he was like, "Look, I didn't have all the information," so kind of explains that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good though. It was good to see him apologize and.
Yeah, you got to come out in public.
Yeah.
If you say it in public, like you make the accusation in public, if you're knowing it's wrong, you have to make like the step to say like, I'm sorry.
It's the same thing he was talking about with like Bert Kreischer and Theo Vaughn. It's like you can't like lie, you can't like lie to cover something up because like it's just like another skeleton. So like you have to get it out there. Like I'll say it so you can't use it against me.
Yeah, for sure.
And so he was just like, look, I'm gonna come out and apologize. I was wrong. So now you can't bring that back up later. Like, because I admitted I was wrong. So, okay, here we go. Fresh start.
Right. Honesty is the best policy. It's a freeing policy. That's why you can have a guy who's a total sicko deviant like Jim Norton be totally fine.
He's just honest, yeah.
Yeah, because everyone knows all his,
Yeah.
all his stuff.
You have to just respect it because it's like,
yeah.
It's how he feels, man. He's going to tell you. Like, you know where he's coming from.
Yeah, honesty is just the best policy. Do you have anything? Did you watch that Elon Musk interview? That thing's huge.
I watched a little bit of it.
10 million views.
How many?
10 million.
Yeah, I think I told you that yesterday.
Can't believe that though.
It's crazy. I bet you it's even more now.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it's a huge podcast, dude. He seemed pretty cool though. I like Elon Musk. Maybe he's the asshole of the week. That's who's the asshole of the week.
For calling out that Thai diver guy for being a pedophile. Well, actually, let me say this: not calling him out, because to call him out, like would assume that he actually did it, but he just like set an accusation and then was like, "Well, how do you know it's not true?" Like, you know what I mean? It's like
no, it's just hilarious. I find Elon Musk like just hilarious with his whole business model. Like he's just like I have money. I'm going to do what I want. I don't really care what you think. Like,
yeah.
I like that attitude.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I liked about him in that. First off, I like the fact that he seemed like a total like weirdo.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the way I want that guy to be.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Be cool.
It's like, yeah, exactly. If he came in, he was too like, like slick back, like, let me tell you this. Like, he had like the canned answers and stuff, was like, super selling him hard. I'd be like, I don't know. This guy can't be that smart.
No, the one thing I loved was when Joe Rogan is talking about the tunnels.
Yeah.
That he's like trying to get LA to do to get rid of the traffic problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like, so what? I mean, what's your plan for it? Like, are you planning on like doing it in like multiple cities, like all this stuff? And Elon Musk's like, no, I live in LA, and so traffic here affects me. So I just want it to not affect me.
Yeah. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, I don't really want to do it in multiple places, just in LA.
Yeah, and he's like, and like the ideas that he's thought of, like for like problems, like he was kind of explaining. Like, did you see the part where he's kind of explaining like why you couldn't make like an electric plane?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just like all these like things like they thought through. Like,
yeah.
He's like, there's a part at the end though where he's like, he's like, I can't turn it off. he's like, you think it might be great to be me, but you can't turn it off. It's interesting. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's just this like, yeah.
That was pretty funny though.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
He was trying to tell him again to the isolation tank. He was like, I don't know. That's like running the nuclear like bomb or something like that without any safety. Like it was some sort of analogy like that. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, I don't think bombs have safeties.
Elon Musk just sitting in a quiet tank.
Right, just
like with nothing but his thoughts.
Yeah,
he might immediately shoot himself when he got out.
Right, he might just end up like screaming. Like that's how I picture that going. He just starts yelling.
Maybe he cures cancer. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I'm glad that he's kind of like he seems like he's just like totally of a different like species, you know?
Yeah.
And that
That's what Joe Rogan basically kept saying. He's like, if anybody was an alien, you'd be the one.
yeah, kind of joking, kind of seeing how he reacted,
Yeah,
kind of seeing if he went for his phaser, you know? He's on to
he
us.
Says it, then he's like,
How'd you know that? Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty great. Really interesting person.
Definitely, no, I think he'll be good. Like, as a whole, like, what he's done. People talk a lot of shit about Tesla, but I talk a lot of shit about Tesla just because, electric cars, fun to talk shit about. But he seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, and the stuff that he's doing, like, the fact that he's, like, trying to, like, he's like, oh, I think it would be good if we populated the stars. It's like, what? Okay.
What if we launched Earth into space? It's the greatest meme.
Yeah. He got in trouble for that smoking weed. I saw 2 people like quit his company because they were like, they didn't quit it because like morally they're wrong. They're just like, I can't handle like the attention that he brings on us. Like it was like the PR director, you know?
See, like, I'd love it if I was his PR director because I'm such an asshole.
That's why he wouldn't be a PR director. That's like the exact opposite of the job.
You want assholes running your PR department.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
You literally want you want me running your PR department.
No.
You want the way
Stop sugarcoating everything.
That's exactly
People have
what
more
you
respect for you when you're an asshole.
No. Maybe. Oh my god. You actually have to see this. Hold on, wait.
Okay.
You'll love this guy.
Who is it, and what are we talking about?
It's a baseball coach, and he's like, maybe you've seen this, like, and he was like, hold on, he's like ripping on the kids. He's like, man, you really suck. Like as he goes.
No. Okay, so I have seen that. That's not the actual coach.
It's not. Who is that?
No, it's a dad filming it, and he's like saying what he thinks the coach would be saying.
Oh, that ruins it for me. Oh. Boo! I was about to say, like, there's no way that.
Yeah, because it's like a little league tournament.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just the coach being like, you kind of suck today, kid.
God.
Yeah, it's a dad sitting filming, and he's saying what he would say.
That's hilarious. Like, he did a great job dubbing it.
Yeah.
But, like, that is so sad. Oh, I wish I can go back.
Because it's multiple coaches in that video.
I didn't even notice.
I think one of them's black and one of them's white.
I don't see race.
I'm colorblind.
No, I'm not colorblind. I'm just super duper open and not racist.
That's funny. Yeah, no, that's a dad though.
It's really funny. I think it's all white guys. I mean, they all kind of look the same. They're wearing the same uniform.
Maybe.
You're right though. I think they are. Maybe they're different. I don't know, but that's so funny.
I mean, a lot of it is one guy, but like the whole video is pretty long. So,
yeah. I saw a shorter version on Instagram that made it look like it was the coach.
That's probably why.
Yeah, like it was one guy. That's so sad. I
wish that the coaches talked like hell. My coaches talked like that most of the time.
Not that
Not when I was that young, but when I was in high school, they said some pretty mean shit, dude. It was.
Like what?
They could get there, man. God, no, there was one time, it was funny.
What's the meanest thing a coach ever said to you?
Me?
Or ever said to someone on your team?
No, I'm trying to think, because there was one time, this one kid was like, he was doing something, and one of our coaches was just like mimicking him, but just like making fun of him. And like the kid like nearly started crying. And he was like, man, you're making fun of me. And he was like, no, I'm not. And the kid was like, yeah, you are. I'm like, I can hear you saying stuff. And he goes, okay, so what if I am? And just like,
that's a good point. I'm your coach. I can make fun of you. I
mean, they didn't say anything too crazy, but I mean, they definitely quit being a little girl.
That's not so bad.
Or it just be different stuff, I mean, they said some pretty crazy shit. Because we had some younger coaches, too. So, like, pretty close in age, group. Like, they get riffing a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't remember
be amazed.
I don't think any coach I ever had was too mean. Not mean in that way.
Not necessarily mean, because they liked me.
Yeah.
But, like, like, they said some shit, like, that you wouldn't imagine, like, somebody that works in a school
Let's say.
Yeah.
I told you my one coach that would say after he lost, he'd be like, the guy didn't know how to be a wrestling coach. He's like, don't get pinned. You deliberately disobeyed me. It's like, I told you not to do that. Not exactly mean, but really funny.
See, but I think that's what people need. They need to play sports where they're physical and they have to, like, get beat up a little bit, and, like, you have coaches that degrade you a little bit. Like, you need that. Because if you don't, you get people like Pod Save America.
Oh, nice transition. Oh, and he's back. I wish I had, like, doo 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 ho ho ho.
Got that segue. Need a little picture of a Segway rolling around every time I do something like that.
God, if I could, like, design a studio, I'd have little, like, midgets on Segways when you do something like that, and have them, like, roll through the center, and then, like, just keep going, like, into a hole. Like, like Pee-wee's Playhouse, they come, like, out of, like, a wall. Segway alert. That's we'll put that one on the back burner.
So the only reason I really wanted to talk about it today was because I watched a short little video on Twitter. I think I'm gonna go make fun of them on Twitter actually when we get off of this podcast. Get us some more followers. But they posted a video of the shortest guy they have. Now that I'm looking at the picture, of course. It has the weird. He's just not attractive, and he seems like the nice guy, but really he's probably an asshole. But like that's how he tries to get women is the nice guy routine.
Tom. Well, actually, I think I know these guys' names. Like, see the one who looks a little bit like monkeyish, like Dan Pfeiffer.
Probably.
It's Dan Pfeiffer, Tommy Vitor.
Yeah, John Lovett and John Favreau.
Favreau.
Gay last name. But he.
You don't like John Favreau, the actor, the guy from Swingers?
He's okay.
I like him.
I'm just saying it for that one guy. They're not related, are they?
No, I don't think so.
There you go. It's only gay in one case.
No, and you looks good. That last name, it fits you, but for him, it just kind of looks.
I watched a clip. They were talking about, like, oh my God, won't it be so great when the Democrats win back the Senate and then Ruth Bader Ginsburg can just take a break? Like, she can just, like, she doesn't have to do, like, yoga or anything. Like, she can do some drugs because, like, she can just take a break,
Yeah. He's basically saying,
this,
like, she can go into,
little
like,
beta male voice too when he does.
You can go into a death spiral.
Like, she'll just be able to, like, take a break, like,
I don't know. I think that's
grow a pair. Weird bait.
He does, like, John Lovitz particularly has that voice that's kind of like he has a very effeminate voice.
He has like that rapist voice.
See, that's not the way I would describe that voice. He just sounds a little like he's always throwing a hissy fit. He has like the voice of somebody that would like send back like an appetizer for having like baby tomatoes in it or something. Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, like that's what I hear when I hear his voice. Like it feels like he's always kind of
sir,
yeah.
Sir, this isn't what I ordered.
Yeah, exactly. He seems like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Or like he has the voice of that kind of guy.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't listen enough to say. But that's a decently funny bit.
They should have put him in.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, like it really is like that now, where it feels like people are like, or actually, I think this was actually kind of a true story where people were sending her all sorts of like supplements and things, like trying to keep her alive. You know, like people were probably sending her fresh bags of blood so she can pump into her veins. You know, she's like,
I mean, if Trump wins another election, or any Republican really, she ain't making it to the end of that term.
probably not.
Like, and if she's still working at that point and she hasn't died, like, she's gonna want to retire. Like,
Yeah.
jeez.
This is like the end.
If she doesn't retire before this term, then she will die as a Supreme Court justice.
I don't know. She looks pretty healthy to me.
Oh yeah, falling asleep in all the hearings.
You know, there was this thing called the
She's probably gonna die in one of those hearings, and nobody will even be able to tell because they'll just think she's asleep.
she might she's really thinking about this case.
They try to wake her up, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And like nobody did anything because they just thought she was asleep, like always.
Like always. There was this thing called the were you there? We were talking about this. The blue zone.
The blue zone.
The blue zones. They're like these 5 areas in the world where people like kind of on average live to like 100 or like in like greater, like much greater number than like the, you know, than like the rest of the world.
I remember talking about that with
Yeah.
your dad.
Yeah, and he was giving me a little more information about this. One of the things they do, like things they have in common, big nap cultures. All like 5 of those places, like Italy, and like one place was in Italy, one place was in Greece, one place in the mountains. There was another one in California, and I can't remember where the 5th one was.
All places that are really lazy.
Yeah, well, they lived to 100. That wasn't the only thing. That wasn't, well, listen, if being lazy is going to buy me another
I'm just saying,
20 years?
California, terrible place to live. Greece, terrible. Italy, probably okay, but I've heard they're pretty lazy there.
The mountains?
As far as like they just don't.
I can't, one place was in Japan. That was the other one.
Okay,
It was Japan. I can't remember where.
Japan's just crazy.
Yeah, there was one
They
in the
work more than
mountains that I
anybody
don't remember
else.
specifically. One was in like Osaka, Japan. I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
They're not lazy. Those people work themselves
they actually
to
say
death.
though the 5 things though that you'd probably like to live in all those places, because like what they have is like they have like active lives, like they walk around, like they like, you know, and not sort of active where it's like, oh, I'm doing like, you know, like CrossFit, or like I do something for exercise. Just like my lifestyle's active. I walk to places. I do, you know, crap with my hands or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
it's that. They not a lot of commonalities in diet. Kind of surprising. Not like you know, like some guys live in the mountains where they have no fish, and then like the people in Japan and Greece, and I don't think so much Italy, but at least Japan and Greece, lots of fish. But
I would say Italy probably has fish.
yeah, but it wasn't like a big part of these people's diet.
Gotcha.
Like, but so it was like they have like strong community ties, like close friends.
That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, like they have friends, like they're spiritual, like they have a strong like spiritual like practices in all those places, like where like they pray or they do something like that, like at least some portion they pray or meditate.
Yeah.
And then what was the 5th one? I think it was family. I think that was what it was. I'm
Probably.
not sure if that was in the friends
Well, I
section.
mean, family definitely gives you something to try to live for.
Yeah.
I would say.
So like those are like the 5 like, you know, things they can find most in common with in these areas. Makes sense to me. And they nap. They also there's a lot of napping. So I think
Yeah, I don't think that's the reason she does it.
no, probably
It's okay
not.
to nap at your house. It's really not okay to nap in the middle of a hearing that
No,
you're supposed to be at.
you're supposed to be listening to. That's just
Yeah.
deciding the law of the land.
Everybody talks about how like a great justice she is. It's like she's asleep half the time.
She's literally
Like that's terrible.
asleep on the job.
Absolutely horrible. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because they looked like really big beta males, and thought it was funny.
Well, they do have very soft voices. Although I think that's actually a pretty funny thing they're saying, because people really are trying to like keep Ruth
Oh, no, I'm
Bader
not saying it's
Ginsburg
not
alive.
funny. It was just like I heard his voice Like, actually, I was watching the video, like, because it was playing before I clicked on it, so, like, no sound.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just looking at him, and I was like, oh, that dude. And I knew Pod Save America is a very liberal podcast. So I was watching it. I was just watching it without the sound first, and I was like, man, that dude looks like a little beta male.
You know,
I started imagining his voice, and then I clicked it, and it was even better than what I was imagining it as.
I used to like that show when it was, before it was even Pod Save America. Like, this was way early. This was before the 2016 election. It was still called, what was it called? Something 76 or something like that. I can't remember. When it was part of Grantland. Like, remember that old website?
No.
Grantland was like Bill Simmons's like sports and pop culture website. It was really good, actually. I used to love that website, but they went to The Ringer, and I didn't like The Ringer as much. But anyway, I listened to it back when it was on there. Keeping It 76, I think it was called.
So are you...
Am I going to say anything?
Did you change, or did they?
They changed. That's what I was going to say. Like, they, like, during around the time of the election, they just got more and more hysterical. Like, at first I thought, like, oh, like, they might be kind of decently, like, objective and might be interesting to hear some view, you know. But then, like, you know, as, like, the election started wearing on and, like, you know.
They like Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they always liked her. But, like, they were, like, they just had that Trump hysteria that people started to catch. And it became less interesting to, you know, to hear, like, just people, like, you know, not giving, like, what at least it wasn't sounding to me like it was any sort of objective, like, analysis of what was going on. It was more, just became more, like, hysterical and screeching. And I was like, I don't want to listen to this anymore.
Yeah, I got you.
Because I was interested in politics at the time. I was starting to become more interested.
You know what's going to be really funny? So we're going to have to talk politics. I'm thinking because, like, you listen to this and you know kind of where they went and stuff. Pretty sure my girlfriend listens to Pod Save America. And it's going to be really funny. One of these days, we're going to all talk politics together. Because you do sugarcoat things better than I do.
Me, you, and her?
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
It's going to be funny.
Sure.
Because, like, I have my radical views. You're, like, right there. Sugarcoat things. And maybe it'll actually get somewhere.
Yeah. Sure. I'll be the transition until you radicalize her.
Hold on, I got another great one. So, you know, talking about these
wait,
guys.
Wait, we only have like a minute left.
Okay, I'm just gonna do the transition.
Do the transition, then we'll end.
Okay. So, you know, talking about Pod Save America. All they gotta do is play a little football, get a little rough every once in a while.
God, we forgot to talk about football.
And, you know, all that good stuff. Bam! First week of football is in the books. What'd you think?
Oh, God. I really wish we could talk about the Cowboys. Really wish we could, but we're unfortunately out of time.
They're terrible. That's all you need to know.
I'm sorry. What was the score of that Cleveland-Pittsburgh game? You catch that?
Oh, they tied.
Ugh.
We didn't lose.
Ugh. Who
did you lose to?
All right. Carolina. They were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago. Oh,
they're a good team. All right.
terrible.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. We're not going to talk about football. Cowboys, you know, we could have had a draw. No one saw it. Bye. Okay, and thank you for listening. Do you want to thank them?
No.
So ungrateful. If you would like to email us with suggestions or mean, hateful things, you can reach us at thedeadendradio@gmail.com.
Or at Dead Radio USA on Twitter.
Where my lucky co-host will be insulting people he doesn't like.
Yep. But remember, if you send us bad things, I will come after you.
We're just instigating war. And that'll be at the end of all of these. So now, just for God's sake, don't get us in trouble. All right. Goodbye.